woo the child into wanting to look at you because you're so fascinating, which I know you are. Hi there, it's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. I hope you're having a fabulous week. I'm slightly under the weather. I don't think it's anything major, but I'm feeling a little draggy. I hope that you're even better than that. Today, I want to have a little chat about eye contact. We have been doing a little series here on the diagnostic criteria for an autism spectrum disorder, and under the difficulty with social emotional interactions portion, eye contact is mentioned. A lot of families are excessively concerned with their kids not looking at people. And I have been in families' homes and in church situations and school situations where people have said, "Look at me," and or forced the child's head to look at them. And in fact, when I was new in my practice, I did this as well because I didn't know any better. I'm here to encourage you to not do this. The reason is because the lack of eye contact is a result of an issue, not the issue itself. It is a downstream effect of the lack of social engagement that we're discussing. Therefore, we don't want to treat that, we want to prevent it. Also, from what I've read from people who actually have autism and people who have studied this via brain scans, sometimes in some people, particularly those who have an autism spectrum disorder, eye contact can cause the fight or flight or freeze response to be triggered. That is not going to help social interactions at all. If you are either trying to run away, if you're trying to fight, or if you are frozen. None of those are good for social relationships. So if a person can interact with me without looking at me initially, that's fine. We're still working on interaction skills. Please do watch the last video that I did in this series where I talked about how to get involved in a kid's world, how to jump into that child's bubble and help him or her realize that being involved with other people can be fun, and it should be fun. That's how we woo kids into relationship with us. If we are wooing a child, there's no reason to force particular behaviors, specifically eye contact. If I'm wooing a child into relationship with me, then all I have to do is be fun. And at some point, the kid, in the way that the child understands as fun, not in a way that I think is necessarily fun, although I do think it's very fun to play with kids in this engaging way. Mostly, I need to be what the child needs me to be in order that the child would want to interact with me. What normally happens is that we do some of the strategies that I talked about in the last video. I follow the child's lead. I get involved in what the child enjoys, and then I make it more interactive. I make it slightly more interesting and complex, and then we enjoy that together. As I'm doing that with a child, usually even a child who does no eye contact will start to look out of the corner of her eye at me or at the play partner. That's a step in the right direction. That's the kind of looking that transitions into better eye gaze down the line. Forcing kids to look at us doesn't have that effect. In addition, some of the science is showing, I'll see if I can find some of these studies and post them down below for you, but some of the science is showing that people with autism sometimes can look or they can listen because the incoming channels are so slow to process in some situations between the actual ears or eyes and the brain sometimes both of them don't function very well at the same time. So a person can be looking at you, or she can be hearing what you're actually saying, but maybe not both at the same time. This actually happens to me sometimes when I'm very tired. If my husband's talking to me, I can listen to what he's saying, or I can watch his face, and both of them don't work at the same time. You've probably had similar experiences, maybe when you've been sick or when you've been really exhausted. These kind of things are common, that our processing speed just goes so far down that we can't do more than one thing at a time. Just like any machine, we are the same way. And for people with autism, this is magnified even more. And as far as engagement goes, listening, being able to hear your voice and respond to that is much more important than actually looking at your face. Additionally, we can, as kids get older, teach them a little bit about how eye gaze is important in social relationships. The first part of this video, I was really talking about kids who are very young or very early in their process of emerging into social beings. As kids get older, even if eye contact is still a big area of difficulty for that child or that young adult, we can then talk about why it's important to other people, even if it's not important to us. It's important that I look at somebody, sort of, when I'm talking, because for most people, that feels like trust. It feels like I can trust you if you're able to look at my face while I'm talking to you. I feel like you're telling me the truth if you look at my face when I'm talking to you or when you're talking to me. Sometimes, if people don't look at another person, it feels like they're not trustworthy or like they're not telling the truth, and that can bother people. If it's too hard to look in someone's eyes, you can look at their forehead. You can look at their nose. You can look by their head without actually looking right at the person. Those things all count. People can't always tell, and a lot of times looking past somebody or looking at someone's forehead has the same emotional feel to people who are neurotypical, meaning they don't have an autism spectrum disorder. We can train these skills, and as kids get older, we must train these skills because a lot of times they don't develop naturally. Okay, so there's our discussion of eye gaze. Don't force it. It can trigger fight, flight, freeze response, which shuts down social communication. Instead, woo the child into wanting to look at you because you're so fascinating, which I know you are. And as the child gets older, talk about why eye gaze is important and how you can fake it if it's really too hard to do the full version, eyes on eyes. I hope this video gave you some great things to think about today. Please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps other people to find these videos too, so that we can spread all of this wonderful knowledge throughout the world and make the lives of our people with autism or other developmental disorders feel more welcome in this world that we share. I hope you have a great week. I will see you next time with a brand new video. See you soon.